Hi, welcome to the Forecasting for Success podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brie. I'm a doctor of psychology, financial educator, astrologer, and founder of Forecasting for Success, a community of people improving their financial literacy to achieve financial independence. I blend my expertise as a former professor and financial intelligence analyst with the tool of astrology to help break down why you are struggling with specific money habits and the best way to form more intentional responses and choices when it comes to money, especially to help you feel more secure in your financial decisions and improve your money skills for building long-term wealth. Hello, welcome back to the Forecasting for Success podcast. Thank you so much for being here. And remember to subscribe, rate, and review the show, which is very helpful in supporting myself and the podcast. And if you're wondering where to get started when it comes to getting your money in order and improving your financial situation, you can go to forecastingforsuccess.com/free-resources to take my free financial personality quiz, and I'll send you a personalized money plan for wherever you're at with your finances. And holy transits, Batman. There's so much going on with Venus this week. Since there's so much going on, let's just go ahead and jump right into the Venus transits, and then towards the end, we'll review the basics of income and debt. First, at exactly 6:43 a.m. Central European Time today, Venus entered the sign of Taurus, which is one of its two rulership signs, the other being Libra. This means that Venus is most comfortable in the sign of Taurus or Libra. I always think of hedonism bot from Futurama when I think of Venus and Taurus, and I say this with love since my natal Venus is in Taurus. This energy often wants to indulge, relax, and focus on having a pleasant time. While Venus in Taurus has the ability to attract wealth since it values and craves stability and security, you do need to be mindful of how you're spending your money since it also enjoys pleasantries and comforts, which may cause you to overindulge if you're not being mindful of your spending during this transit. This week, Venus is sextile to Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, which is a positive transit. When Venus is sextile to Jupiter, it's a great time to assess and improve your self-worth and self-esteem. Since this transit includes the sign of Taurus and Gemini, it's a great time to think through your overall communication about your personal values and worth. How do you often think about yourself? What words are you using to describe yourself in either your head or out loud to others? Use this transit to identify any aspects of yourself that could use some strengthening up and improvement to ensure that you are practicing beneficial thoughts and words when it comes to your self-worth and self-esteem. This means remembering to use wording like, I am feeling lazy, rather than I am lazy. You feeling lazy is a momentary feeling and not a personality trait. So maybe feeling lazy is a sign that you either need more rest or that you need to approach a task from a different perspective. So be open to this beneficial time of better connecting with your values and beliefs. And if you identify any areas where you can strengthen your self-worth and self-esteem. It's also a good transit for reviewing your investments. Since the moon is in Libra today, it would make a great day for a money date with yourself to make sure that you know how your investments are doing and if you want to make any adjustments. I encourage people in my stock market course to use the moon's energy to help them stay on top of their finances. A new moon is a great time to make your monthly investments since that's when you want things to grow and get bigger. And a full moon is a great time to make a payment towards debt or pay off any debt, since that energy is best for releasing things and letting things go. If you want to join my stock market course and community to learn how to better manage your money, I would love for you to join us, so check out the link in the show notes. Lastly, Venus is also square to Pluto and Aquarius. This transit can activate power struggles within ourselves or with others, and this may be more sensitive or heightened right now due to Venus still being conjunct to Chiron and Aries. Be careful if you notice your survival instincts or mechanisms being triggered by others or by your internal thoughts. This is the time to be present with what you're feeling so that you can learn to make better choices. This transit can often teach us something new about ourselves so that we can develop healthier habits. Remember to be careful if you're feeling impulsive, since this may also be heightened with Venus and Taurus. Try to take a breath or walk away and come back to avoid any emotional outbursts or avoid making an impulsive purchase. Any negativity brought to the surface during this time is meant to be acknowledged and addressed in a new way that is healthier for you. It's not a time to let the impulses win or the old survival habits win that no longer apply to your present life. It may be a useful time to recognize old attachments that are no longer needed or old values that need to be replaced with new values that match your current life and where you're headed. So be gentle with yourself if anything is triggered for you with this transit. Take a breath and try again by responding in a healthier way. Okay, let's switch gears and go over the basics of income and debt for this week's financial tip. One of the first things that is important to understand is if you have enough income to follow through on a financial plan. If you lack the necessary income needed to pay for your basic needs, to save money, and to make long-term investments, then your first step is to do whatever is in your power to increase your income. This can be anything from switching companies or switching the type of job that you're doing to get paid more, or even developing a side hustle if you have the capacity for that. This is where your energy should go first if you're looking at your finances and realize that things just aren't working because there's not enough income for you to do what you need to do financially. It's also possible while looking at your finances that you do technically make enough money to follow through with a more strategic financial plan, but your spending might be too haphazard. This means that your energy will need to go more towards developing a solid budget and sticking to this plan long term. This is so important to control lifestyle creep. If you're making more money or getting regular raises each year, it's critical to continue putting this money in your savings and investment accounts to ensure that you can retire early or relax early because life is just too short. The sooner you can be completely autonomous and independent, the better. Next, let's talk about debt. The first thing that's important to know is that you have to be literal about your debt situation. You have to know your full debt picture and develop a tangible plan to get out of debt in order to be successful. If you're just guessing or estimating and never thoroughly looking at your debt, you're unlikely to pay this off as soon as possible and also stay out of unnecessary debt long term. It's also important to think more strategically about your debt. Instead of being worried about whether or not you can spend $5 on a latte, it's important to think about whether you need a brand new car versus a used car, or if you need to go to the $40,000 a year university, when the $15,000 a year university can meet 100% of your needs. This is the type of shift in thinking that you need to stay debt-free and grow your wealth. If you are in debt and need a strategy to pay it off, you have two great choices: the debt snowball or the debt avalanche. The debt snowball method means you will pay off your debts from the smallest amount owed to the largest amount owed. The debt avalanche method means that you will pay off your debts from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. While both are very good methods of paying off debt, the debt avalanche method is the fastest and most cost-effective method of becoming debt-free. So this is the one I always recommend to my clients for them to use, which I do go over in depth in my stock market course. And lastly, I have a magical number for you. The magical number is 7%. If you have any debt with an interest rate of 6% or less, it's usually okay to make the minimum payments on this debt and use any extra money you may have to invest. If your interest rate exceeds 7%, then you do need to use the debt avalanche method to pay off this debt as soon as financially possible. The reason why 7% is the magic number is because this is roughly the average annual return rate of the stock market, also accounting for inflation. The magic of the stock market is time. You need to have your money spend as much time as possible in the stock market for the interest to compound in your favor. This means that any debt below 7% is usually worth paying off on schedule so that you can put any extra money in the stock market because this works more in your favor. I hope this information has been helpful to help you navigate the transits and energy of this week, as well as how to be more intentional with your finances. I want to thank you so much for joining me this week on Forecasting for Success and let you know that you can read the transcript for each podcast episode on my website, which is linked below in the show notes. I've also included the link to send me your money questions if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast at forecastingforsuccess.com/podcast. And if you're ready to get started on improving your financial literacy and developing your own personalized money plan, I encourage you to join my Forecasting for Success community, where I teach you everything you need to know about budgeting, how to choose your retirement number, how to invest in the stock market, and so much more. I go live in the community each month to check in on your progress and help answer any questions you may have. And it's a supportive community where you can also check in with other members and learn from their experiences as well. I hope you take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next week.